to. God, I ask that you just bless this day. You've already blessed it with the weather. We appreciate that. God, I ask that you give myself and Carmen the strength to say what's true. God, just help us, one step at a time to do what you want, not what we want. And God, we're begging you. We're asking you to come back into Battleground, to come back in the United States of America. We love your son. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Okay. So, for those of you who don't know what we're trying to do, okay, I'll give a quick explanation, and then if you guys have any questions, I'm going to be around for the next couple hours. We're going to march down to the main intersection, and the goal is to hand out flyers. What we're trying to do is not trying to, we're going to do it, okay? The city council members are going crazy right now, like crazy in a good way. They're excited about this. Even the mayor, okay, you guys know the mayor, even he's starting to get on board because they're getting so many phone calls, getting so many emails. And listen, 3 of these guys are up for re-election, and they think this is a good way to get re-elected because the people want it. Okay, City Battleground voted, 65% voted no on 1639. Okay, so now there's an opportunity for the city council members to step up, and there's 2 things I'm focusing on. Number 1 is to focus on the fact that no police officer in the city Battleground will come to your house and take your guns without due process, without honoring the Constitution, the 4th Amendment. Because see, this is way bigger than just the 2nd Amendment, way bigger than just guns. This is the fact that they passed a law that says some random person can decide whether or not the Constitution exists for you individually. They're going to go through your medical records. They're going to say, oh, he or she's ineligible because they have PTSD. And they're going to tell the Battleground Police Department they need to go in there and take your guns. What we're saying is that's illegal. It's against the Constitution. So pass an ordinance banning any official in the city from doing that. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Now the next thing, okay, we want the state to break the Constitution. We don't want it, but if it's going to happen, it needs to come from Bob Ferguson and his goons. Those are the ones that need to come in and take the guns, or try to, right? Not the local police department. Because we don't want the local police department to be your guys' enemies. That's the worst thing that we can have. The way the country is going right now, we need the police to protect the 2nd Amendment at a local level. This is the thing, because it's easier to impact police in a small city, right, to call out corruption at a local level than it is at a state level or even a federal level. Okay, so that's why we need to empower the city council. And the other ordinance that I really want to get passed, the thing that I really want done, is that if we're going to say the city Battleground Police will not break the Constitution, we want to make it a law so that if the Clark County Sheriff, who said he's going to enforce 1639 to its fullest, which means he's willing to bust down doors without a warrant, right? He's made that statement. If the Clark County Sheriff, if anyone in the state or in the federal level is going to come into our city, your guys' city Battleground, they have to give warning. They have to tell the Battleground Police, and they have to tell the city council so the public knows. So that way, if we decide as citizens that someone's rights are going to be taken away illegally, then we can be there at the house when they try to come and take it. Hundreds of us peacefully standing up saying, you need a warrant. You got to follow the Constitution. That's simple. Those are 2 of the things that I'm focusing on. We do have a law for preemption where you can't necessarily change gun laws. Hey, we'll focus on the 4th Amendment then. We'll focus on that. We'll get those ordinances. So, with that being said, okay, hold on, I gotta turn this off. So this is what we got going forward, okay? I've seen things going on in the last 2 years that's blown my mind. I can't explain to you the things that I've seen and where this country is going. Right now, everybody's gonna have to pick a side, okay? That's where the country is going. There's 2 different sides. There's no more staying lukewarm. There's no more staying silent, staying in your house, keeping your mouth shut. That's not acceptable anymore. There's 2 sides. There's one side of making this government bigger, making it stronger, okay? Giving it more of an ability to oppress us, more towards socialism, more towards communism, okay? That's one side. And the other side is being for the people, being for the rights of the individual. Your right to do and say whatever you want as long as you don't hurt anybody else. The Constitution, freedom. That's the thing. And so you guys showing up here today, that's you picking a side. Do you get that? That's you guys picking a side. Because freedom is the most beautiful thing that we have in this world. Why not fight for it? Why not fight for it and give that gift? That's a gift that you can give other people. This is another thing about freedom fighters that people don't talk about enough, okay? True freedom fighters. We fight for freedom for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, gay, straight. It doesn't matter if you're a communist, a liberal, a gun grabber, okay? It's not their fault. They don't understand what they're doing. we're fighting for their rights too. We're fighting for the people who are too lazy to get up off their asses. We're fighting for them. We're fighting for the people who are too afraid to have a voice. We're fighting for the people who don't believe in themselves, who believe that they can't have an impact on this country. Which takes me to my next point, okay? One of the cornerstones about Patriot Prayer is truth. It's about truth. It's very important. And truth is not just speaking truth, it's living in truth, which means not believing in lies. One of the biggest lies that we have in this country is that you're not good enough. You're worthless. You can't impact the world. You can't impact this country. That is the biggest lie that we have going in this country right now, and it is an excuse, and that's why so many people are staying at home. And I did it for 32 years. I did it. And then once I realized the secret, I realized the truth, that once you commit to something, if you believe in it, it's in your heart. Okay, you're passionate about something, you can change, no, you will change the world. Each and every single one of you here individually, each and every single one of you, no exceptions. If you guys made a commitment to turn Battleground into a sanctuary city, you will get it done. I made the commitment. I'm talking about the real commitment, willing to do whatever it takes. And that's the thing, is that if you truly believe that you can move these mountains, okay, you sure as hell can make Battleground a sanctuary city, especially if you walk with Jesus. Especially if you use Jesus as your guide. You will change this world, but you gotta believe in it. It's gotta be inside here. It's gotta be right here, okay? The next thing that's very important, okay? This goes with it, is courage. Courage is a big thing about Patriot Prayer, okay? You've gotta take courageous actions to take this country back. Our forefathers took courageous actions. They sacrificed. Our veterans sacrificed. We have to have the same attitude that firefighters have, right? What do? They go running into the burning building when everyone else is running out. And courage isn't just about your safety. The scariest thing I've ever done in my entire life, the scariest thing, and I've done some scary things, okay? The scariest thing was my first speech I ever gave. I decided to throw my first rally. No one had any idea who I was. I decided to give a speech, and my heart was just pumping. I was sweating. All I could think about was just running away. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I'm like, I walked into the middle of Antifa with my hands up ready to get stabbed. That wasn't nearly as scary. But here's the thing though, is that courageous action, because I actually took that first step and I actually did it, like over 100 speeches followed after, because I was willing to take that courageous action. And this thing is, when you take a courageous action, you do something you were afraid to do, and you come out the other end bigger, stronger, right? It's gonna increase your faith. You're gonna realize what you really can do. See, fear is an attempt by the enemy to stop you from doing what you're meant to do. We all have a calling, okay? I believe in God, I believe in Jesus. You guys don't have to, but I believe God has a calling for us, and it's our choice to take it or not, okay? It's your choice. And the best way that the enemy can stop you is fear. The enemy put so much fear in my heart to not speak that first day. And if I didn't speak that day, if I would have ran, right, I probably wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have found my calling. And so we got to make sure we take those courageous actions. We have too many people that are afraid to be a conservative or a libertarian or to be for the Second Amendment on the West Coast, because then you're racist, right? You're a Nazi. Too many people are afraid to speak up and speak out. And that courage is going to be the key, okay? So here's the thing, is that we have a lot of people who are willing to die for this country, okay? A lot. It's that selfless thing. It's wanting to do something. It's the higher cause, okay? The problem is, what are you willing to do before death, okay? Because we're not at that point yet. Not yet. We don't have to die for this country yet. There's things that we can do now. The thing is, you're willing to die for this country. How many flyers are you going to hand out today? You're willing to die for this country, but how many times are you going to call your city council members? How many times are you going to email them demanding that they do what the oath that they swore to, which was the Constitution, to protect you guys? How many of you are going to constantly call the Clark County Sheriff, Atkins, to remind him that his duty is not to the politicians in Olympia, not to the people in Seattle, but to you guys in the Constitution? He needs to be reminded. If we get this passed, this ordinance passed, which we will. The city council members are excited. If we get this passed, you guys are gonna make history. Do you understand that? It will be written in the history books. I'm not saying that to feed your ego. I'm just saying, what an awesome opportunity you guys have to be the first city in the state of Washington the sanctuary city for the Constitution, for the Second Amendment. And if we get you guys to do it, we get LaCenter to do it, we get Washougal to do it, and then we get several counties all over Washington. Okay, we've already had several resolutions passed, including Cowlitz County. When we start getting these ordinances passed, it gives you guys power, right? You guys together as a coalition, every single time they try to pass an unconstitutional law, it doesn't just have to be the Second Amendment, it can be anything. You guys together can have the power to say, nope, we'll not comply, because we're gonna follow the Constitution. And that's a point I want to make that's very important. You guys are not here to be rogues. You're not here to break the law. You're here to honor the law, which is what? It's the Constitution, right? The Constitution is the law. Nothing else. Nothing else gets to step all over that Constitution. We've allowed it far too long. The people in Seattle, okay, they've been running the state for far too long. They don't represent you guys. They do not. They don't represent me. They don't care about freedom. They sure as hell don't care about the Constitution. They have outspoken socialists on the city council. Okay? We don't want them to be telling us what to do. So that's why when we pass these ordinances, and the city council members love it, because we're basically saying, hey, we're trying to give you power, guys. We're trying to give you power over your city. Okay? When we do that, okay, excuse my language, but it's a big F you to Seattle, and saying we're not gonna allow you guys to dictate our city or our county anymore. Okay? You guys feel me?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So when we go over there, we're gonna march over there. Okay, the goal is I need you guys to make sure we have all the flags, the signs. I need 2 people carrying the big signs, really easy. But we need the flags evenly dispersed between 4 corners so that people know what we're about. The Don't Tread on Me flags are great because it lets people know what we're about, right? We're for limited government, and that's what gets the people to roll down their windows to ask questions. Now, when you guys are handing out flyers, we handed out over 600 flyers last week. It's really easy. People were honking their horns nonstop. It was a party last week. It was fun. So if we can evenly just, go to all 4 corners on the right-hand side, because that's where they come up and they stop at the stoplights. Having the flags evenly dispersed so they get all excited. Now, if they roll down a window, just go up, hand them a flyer right away, but don't stay and talk, because the police complained about that. If they want to talk, tell them to pull around. Tell them to pull into the Safeway parking lot or something, okay? So hand them out. The goal is to get more and more people every single week. March 31st, we're gonna have a huge rally right here, okay? Hopefully we get, a big chunk of the city who actually care about the Constitution to show up, okay? And this is how we're gonna put pressure on the city council members and help remind them what their duty really is, okay? So, that being said, we're lucky enough to have Carmen. She comes from California. She's all about freedom, medical freedom. She's a great speaker, and she's come up here to say a couple words. So let's hear it for Carmen. Thanks, Joy. Thanks. She's a great singer too, by the way.
More of that. Well, Joey stole my speech, so I don't really have much to say. Those of you who heard me speak last time at the Free Billy Wilson rally, what was like the theme of my speech? Does anyone remember?
Get some balls on her.
Yeah. Besides the get some balls part. The theme was, come on everybody, the theme was love, right? It was coming from a place of love rather than coming from a place of fear. We talked about that. That's the biggest thing right now, is if you love, who loves their state? Who loves their state? Who loves the Constitution? Who loves their Second Amendment? Okay, I'm pretty sure we love all of them, but seriously, if you love something, you have to nurture it. You have to nurture every ounce of it. You have to be out there. You have to be giving to it. You have to be letting other people know that you love it. You have to be almost an evangelist about it. You have to be out there talking and standing and speaking and reaching out and passing out flyers and doing whatever you can. But the love is what's going to overtake us from the fear. So, does anybody know what America's biggest fear is? The number 1 biggest fear?
Public speak.
What is it? Public speaking.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! If you don't think I'm shaking in my boots right now, yeah, you don't know me very well. It's super scary. It's so scary to stand up, especially in front of a bunch of people you don't know, who, you're afraid of being judged, you're afraid of saying the wrong thing, you're afraid of looking stupid. But here's the thing. God told me that fear is just the devil whispering in your ear to forget everything and know. Don't do anything about it. Don't do anything about the things that you love. just forget everything and run. That's not God speaking. That's the devil speaking. Okay, so every time you're super scared of something, just remember that's probably a fire burning inside of you that you're not stoking. Okay, that you're not stoking, and you need to stoke that. You need to stoke it. You need to put yourself out there. Okay. How many of you are willing? A lot of you were willing to die for your country. How many veterans do we have here today?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You don't need to die for your country just yet, but we don't ever want to get to a place where we do have to die for our country. And if they're going to come take all of our guns, I'm pretty sure that a few of us are going to stand up and say, F